Today I'm going to walk you through setting up your new BMS gateway with your TFTN boiler. Now, for those of you that have done the TFT with the gateway before, you'll probably recognize the Protonode. This is a new version, but it's still the Protonode that you've been using. What is different now is the Protonode actually communicates with an eBus gateway, and eBus is the communication protocol that the new TFTN uses. And I'm going to show you this. Now in the field you don't have to disassemble this, but just so you know what's going on. If we remove this little cover, this would be screwed down. You've got the eBus gateway. This allows the Protonode to speak to this, and then this speaks to the boiler. Inside here you've got a 24 volt transformer that powers everything. You've got a 120 volt adapter coming in. You get a 120 volt cable, and built into this is actually a fuse. So if you find that nothing will power up, inspect the fuse that's built right into the plug here. So I'm going to reassemble this. We'll put our plugs back in. So the green plug comes factory connected. The orange plug here is the data connection that you're going to use to connect this to your boiler. So we'll plug that in there. Tools you're going to require is basically a small flat screwdriver or a technician screwdriver. Field supplied components, you're going to require an Ethernet cable and some 2-wire conductors so that you can connect this to the building system. Now to mount this on the wall, it's very straightforward. There's 4 screw holes. You're simply going to line up your 2 screws here. This will sit on those and then hang, and then the last 2 just secure it down so that it can't be knocked off. There is also a second fuse at the top here. This is a push and twist, so just be aware that there are 2 fuses on this device. Now that you've seen what's in the box, I'm going to plug this unit in. And the next step when you set this up to communicate with your building system is you do all of this on the laptop using the web page that's provided by the gateway itself. So we're going to start by plugging it in. I have an extension cord here just so we can get this going. So once you plug this in, give it a moment. And you should see that the green light on the Protonode comes on. You'll also see that there is a heartbeat or power light on the eBus gateway board. And then down off to the side here, next to the tricolor adapter, there's a second light, and that'll operate while there's data communication happening. Now that that's connected, we're going to take our Ethernet cord. I'm using a Windows laptop. If you happen to be using a Mac or something else, check with wherever you need to find out how to change your network adapter settings. If you're using a Windows laptop, I'm using Windows 11. I'll show you how to change the network adapter settings so that you can connect your laptop to the building gateway. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to connect to the Protonode, plug the other end of the Ethernet into our PC. Now that you've got your Ethernet connection made, what you'll have to do is go into your laptop. You may have to change your network adapter settings. There are instructions in the book here to do that, and we'll put a screen capture for a Windows computer. If you have a Mac or something on Linux, you'll have to go elsewhere and find the information on how to change your network adapter settings, but we will post a video for a Windows computer. And once you've got this connected, we're going to open up your favorite web browser. I've got Chrome in this case, and we're just going to search for the address. So it's 192.168.1.24. Now, once you've done that and searched it, you should get this MSA web page, and you're going to be asked for a username and a password. The username is admin, so it's just ADMIN. So we're going to select that. Now, I've previously saved the password for this gateway. The gateway password is unique, so to get that, you just push on the gateway, and you can then unclip this. Once you have it off, you're going to see the default IP address is there, and right above it is the default password. So you're going to type that password in. I've already done that, so I'm just going to log in. reconnect that. Now that I've done that, I'm going to set up the building system using the GUI that's provided by MSA. And we're going to move to a screen capture and show you the settings that you're going to choose here and how those might apply to you. So now we have our gateway hooked up and hanging on the wall. So we've got the 2 screws there. You usually put 2 more in the bottom to stop it from being removed. And the wiring is very straightforward. You're going to find the orange plug that goes in the side of the device. You need a 2-conductor wire. You're going to plug that into your gateway. The other end, you're going to bring this out to your boiler, and you're going to plug it into the bus connection. Once that's connected, now we can turn everything on. I'm going to plug the gateway into the side of the boiler, and we'll give it a minute to boot up. You can see the power light has come on the Protonode. The power light on the eBus gateway should also light up and begin to blink. And once we have communication, you'll see a number of lights on here flashing back and forth. So you'll notice the boiler is going through a new discovery. That's typical whenever you plug something in to the bus connection. It does force a reboot on the boiler, and that's so that it can discover the new device. So we'll wait for the boiler to reboot, and then we're going to go in to the laptop and set up the connection.
On your Windows computer, you may need to change your network adapter settings in order for it to see the Protonode using the Ethernet. Start by clicking on the Internet icon at the bottom right of your screen. Select Network and Sharing. You should be able to then go down to Ethernet, go to Change Adapter Options on the right-hand side of the screen. At this point, you'll be presented with Ethernet connections. Select the one that you're using, double-click this. That will open up this table here. Scroll down till you find IPv4. You're going to want to double-click that. You may need to use the radial dial to allow you to enter a static IP address. So you're going to type that in, 192.168.1.20 will work just fine. Your subnet mask is 255.255.255. Click OK, exit out of this, and your PC should now be ready to connect to the Protonode with the Ethernet connection. Next, you're going to open up a browser. In this case, I'll be using Chrome. Once your browser is open, type in 192.168.1.24. That's the address for the Protonode in the gateway device. Hit enter to search for that. You should be presented with this screen. The default login username is admin, and the password is on the Protonode device itself. Once you're into the online GUI, you can see that there are several options to change. However, the first thing you will probably want to do is go down to the bottom and remove the existing profile. This was set at the factory during testing and is for a single boiler only. If you only have a single boiler, you probably don't need to change anything, but most of these will be connected to a cascade, so you'll want to go down, remove any of the existing profiles, clear those. Once you've cleared the profiles, the system will reboot. And at that point, you will want to go back in and select Discovery Mode. The Discovery Mode will take several minutes, and you can see the status at the top of the screen. Once discovery is complete, the user interface will reboot. If you scroll to the bottom, you can now see the new profile that has been created. You now have options to customize this to the BACnet or LawnWorks system that you happen to be using. So there's options for changing the baud rate, the various addresses, and so on. You'll set these to the needs of your system. If you're having difficulties with your Protonode or getting the correct data, go to the Network and Diagnostics settings, open up the Diagnostics tab. You can then do a 300-second full diagnostic report. This will record all the data for 5 minutes. Once you have your data file, you can email it to NTI, and we'll work with MSA to resolve your problems. This process will take as long as you want it to, up to 1220 seconds. 5 minutes is typically plenty. Once the diagnostic is complete, you can save the file and email it off.
You want to hit enter a specific parameter, and we're going to go to menu 4200. So the first number is 42. So it's 4200, hit enter. This gives us the option of control mode. When we touch this, we get the option to change this. So we can do 0 to 10 volt input for power, 0 to 10 volt for temperature. We can do power and temperature, or we can do external controller power and external controller temperature. These two on the bottom allow the building system to directly communicate either a firing rate or a temperature. So this is how you choose that. Once you've got the setting you want, that's it. You've now changed the control mode of the boiler. For building management setup on the boiler, that's all you can do. The rest of the setup is done on the laptop itself and with your building system. Hopefully you found this setup video for your new building management gateway useful. If you have any questions or concern, as always, please call us at 1-800-688-2575.